happened. You see, it's over. All the worry that it wasn't going to connect up, and you see the internet and the universe and the technology gods conspired to bring us together in this, my first live signing. How you feeling?
A little nervous.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell them who you are?
I'm Molly Ellis, Director of Publicity at Macmillan Children's Publishing Group.
Molly and I met today. I'm Jamie Lee Curtis. I am the wildly proud author of my 12th book for children called Me, Myselfie, and I, written by me and illustrated really cleverly by my super talented partner of many, almost like 28, it's I just said live on the internet. I think you better call my husband, because he's a very well-educated man, and he would be mortified that I said like. But I have been producing books with Laura Cornell for 28 years. Crazy. And this, our most current one, Me, Myselfie, and I, is my, shall we say, think piece on the current obsession with ourselves that we seem to be undergoing in a modern world. The invention of smartphones and the ability to have them turn around and look at ourselves is an epidemic that I've been paying attention to for a very long time as a mom and as a human and as a public person. I'm as guilty as all of you. I'm as guilty as all of you. I took a selfie this morning of someone who didn't want to get her selfie taken, and she said, I don't want to have a selfie taken because I don't like them, and yet what happened? I took it. I deleted it. Because she was a very important woman who I met this morning, and I realized I shouldn't have taken it. But my point is that we're all guilty of it, so I don't want you to think I'm proselytizing and being like, well, like, I don't do it at all, and you people shouldn't either. It's really my way of really talking about it as a family. The book is set in a family. It is set when the mommy is given a smartphone for her 40th birthday by her kids, who are 8 and 4, 8 and 5. And the mom goes selfie crazy. She just becomes obsessed with herself, which is what I think is the problem. So that's really what the book is. The book is a wonderful family book about the obsession with ourselves and what happens when you give somebody one of these phones and they just feel like they can only go like this, and they stop being present, and they stop connecting, and they stop making contact, and it's a problem. And I think it's worth conversations in your family about it. And that's why we're here today, where I'm live signing. I'm supposed to sign a few just so that you all see that I'm signing.
And are there signed copies available anywhere?
Yeah, there's some signed copies of my book available at, by the way, you think we're making all this up. We've been given very specific instructions. It's like the SAT. We follow the instructions. PremierCollectibles.com/Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't own them. I have no financial involvement. Don't you have to disclaim things nowadays? Say like, I don't have a financial involvement with them. I don't agree with them or disagree with them politically. You know, I sign with my right, but I vote with my left. Get it? Without getting political here. So anyway, PremierCollectibles.com/me, and apparently you can buy a copy of signed book. It's the internet. It's amazing. And you will get signed copies of the book as I live sign. This is what they call it, live signing. I know. Okay. It's exciting. And what we'll do the whole time for an hour together is I will answer your questions and I will take your calls, and it will be as if we're not just sitting alone in a conference room at the coolest building in New York, by the way, #Flatiron Building. Yes, Macmillan Publishers have the whole building. You know, the triangle build. It's not a triangle building, but it's a triangle. It's a triangle shape.
It's actually the shape of an iron, which is
why they call it the flat iron.
Fun facts. Yeah.
840 combined on my SATs, and we figured out why they call it the flat iron building.
A lot of people don't know that.
But yes, it's the shape of an iron, and we are inside it at this very moment in a conference room surrounded by books and many of my own books and a couple lights and a few new friends and you guys. So we can even start with the first question, Molly.
So this question is John from Portland, Connecticut is wondering.
Wait a minute, hold on a minute. There's a Portland, Connecticut?
I didn't know either. Wow.
See, I learned two things today. Don't say like on national television, and that there's a Connecticut, there's a Portland, Connecticut. Okay.
The day is young. We could learn more.
That's true.
But John is wondering if you have ever considered writing a memoir or a nonfiction book. He would love that.
Thank you, John from Portland. Do they wear flannel there too in Connecticut? Here's the problem. I've probably started it 100 times. And I've had many stories pop into my head that would be interesting. Here's the problem. You have to betray people. You have to. You have to betray confidence to really write a in-depth memoir. You have to tell what happened. And that involves other people. And I can't do it. I just can't do it. As interesting as maybe I think some of the stories might be, or even insights or human experiences that I may have been through, that may even help people. That's why I talk about my sobriety openly, because I don't have to write about it in a memoir. I just talk about it because it changed my life. And, you know, it can affect you that way if you choose to. And we can talk about that. But for me, any intimate relationship that I would have had with anybody, be it a member of my family, be it a lover, be it a political person who I've come in contact with, anybody, if I tell a story, I'm telling their story with me. And it borders on icky. And I just don't think I could ever do it and not feel icky and feel somehow like I betrayed people. And, you know, what happened between me and people, intimately or politically or emotionally, is between me and them. And so I appreciate that you would ask that. I don't believe that I will ever do that unless I can figure out a way not to betray people, but I don't think that's possible. So I don't think I will end up writing a memoir. Really, in a weird way, my books for children come from me, and they come out of something that happened with my kids. And so in a weird way, it exposes some part of me that comes out in a book. This book, just so you know, interestingly enough, Me, Myselfie, and I was born when my daughter's fiance, I've never said that live on the internet, now I have, gave me a selfie stick as a joke gift a couple Christmases ago. And I was delighted with it. And I went outside and took a picture of myself, which is actually, weirdly enough, even though they cropped it, the actual author picture in the book is the actual picture I went outside and took with my new selfie stick, and just became a little obsessed by it. And another friend of mine, a wonderful author named Barney Salzberg, when I posted that picture on the ground with the caption, "Mommy got a selfie stick," he wrote, "New children's book?" And by the time the plane landed, I posted it before the plane took off, and I saw his comment, and by the time the plane landed, I had written the book. And it really ultimately was all the thoughts I've had about how obsessed we've become with ourselves and how dangerous that is in a world when we should be focusing our attention outwardly. So that's how this all ends up being my memoir, is that it comes out of a children's book, and I end up saying what I would have written in a memoir. Anyway, thank you, Mr. from Portland. John?
The next question is from Angel in Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Ah, been there.
Who would like to know, what are your favorite books to read?
Ah, interesting. I just signed one, by the way, live signing. I feel like we have to do live signing. Angel. So I am an autodidact. I am a self-taught, self-learned person. I barely got out of high school. The delivery system of education didn't work for me. I took in nothing, virtually nothing, and danced around as fast as I could, and so you wouldn't understand that I didn't learn anything, and I learned nothing. So I came out of school with no academic life at all. So I have been self-taught my whole adult life. And I focus on areas of study that interest me. And so I have a rule where I rotate nonfiction, fiction, memoir. So I'll try, and then, by the way, I'll try to do a movie and then music around that same theme. So, for instance, I'm reading right now a book called Into the Silence about the ascent of Everest and the First World War, which I knew nothing about. And it is a nonfiction book about Mallory's attempt, but it really is about the nation of England at that time and what the First World War did to them. So now I will follow that up with a fiction book about the First World War. Then I will probably read Mallory's biography, maybe on Mallory, or maybe on somebody involved with the First World War, and then I will go watch movies and television shows and music set in that time period. And then I'll move on to a different subject. So I sort of am self-taught in that way, and that's how I read. So and then once in a while I'll read a memoir that someone will send me or whatever. But I try to focus it a little bit if I can, which has given me an education, which I didn't have. And not because people didn't try, by the way. And not because I didn't have resources, because my family certainly had resources. It just didn't work for whatever reason. The input part of learning just didn't get in. So that's what I read.
Anne from Cedar Rapids, Iowa is wondering what your next book will be about.
Oh, and you mean books that I'm going to write?
Yes,
Who is
I
it in
believe
Cedar
so.
Rapids?
Anne.
Anne. My daughter's name is Anne with an E. I have an Anne with an E. Are you an Annie also? Because mine's an Annie. You know, I was explaining to young Molly here earlier today. Oh, I only have one more book to sign, Anne with an E, live signing. I don't, as you can tell, plan what I'm going to think, say, or do pretty much at all. And I didn't ever think I'd write books. I was busy minding my own business, being an actor and a spokesperson. At the time, I was doing Hertz commercials, weirdly enough, with O.J. Simpson and Arnold Palmer. True that. I was the woman business executive running through airports at the time. And I had my daughter, Annie, was young. And at one point she marched in my office one day, and in that very cute way that 4-year-old, really only 4-year-olds can do, she sort of marched in my office. She walked in and she said, "When I was little, I wore diapers, but now I use a potty." And then she marched out of my office, and I just remember laughing out loud, thinking that was hilarious. And then I was sitting at my desk and I wrote down on a piece of paper, when I was little, a 4-year-old's memoir of her youth, which made me laugh out loud, because it made me laugh to think that she was talking about when she was little, because she was little, but she was talking about like when she was little, the way I talked about when I had a shag, or when I wore bell bottoms. Like 4 years ago, I wore bell bottoms. You know, she was saying 4 years ago I was little, but now I'm like owning it. And it made me realize that even though she was 4, she had a self. And I hadn't thought about her like that because I just saw her as being little. And really all I thought of was the future for her. Because at that point you're thinking about school and where's she going to go and what. And I wrote, when I was little, a 4-year-old's memoir of her youth on a piece of paper, and I wrote a list of things. When I was little, I did this, but now I do this, when I was blah, blah, blah. And at the end of it, I wrote 3 things, and I started to cry. I wrote, when I was little, I didn't know what a family was. When I was little, I didn't know what dreams were. When I was little, I didn't know who I was. And now I do. And at the end of it, I had tears pouring down my face, and I realized it was a book for children that I had never thought I would write in my life. And I sent it to an agent who happened to be my mother-in-law's best friend, still my agent to this day, Phyllis Wender, and she sent it to Joanna Kotler, who at the time was the head of children's books at Harper and Row, and she bought the book. And I've been an author since then. And every single book that I've written has come out of my head in that exact way, fully formed, without me thinking I was going to write it a second before I wrote it, and then I wrote it. And so I can't tell you if I will ever write another book or if I'll write another 20, because I have to hear it in my head, and I won't know it's coming when it's coming, and then boom, it'll be there. Just like this. I was on an airplane, I posted a picture, it said, "Mommy got a selfie stick," and a friend of mine said, "Is that a new children's book?" And it was by the time I landed. That's how it works with me, creatively.
Something tells me it won't be the last.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
You know, maybe I'll become a grandmother and I'll be around small children. You know, I'm not around small children very much. I'm around a lot of grumpy adults.
That
You know,
could be.
I'm 60 years old this year, and a lot of my friends are my age and older. And people are getting a little grumpy. And things are a little difficult in this country, and for many, many people, you know, all sorts of different walks of life, and people are grumpy. And by the way, they're grumpy on both sides. This isn't a political statement, this is being honest. People are grumpy. And so children are not. Children are born pure. They are pure, awake, and alive. And, you know, they get grumpy as they get older. And so I'm hoping that I'll be around small children again, which will enliven me to be like, oh, look at the world through your eyes, because that's where my books come from. But at this moment today, I do not have another book that I've written.
Well, Richard from Kearney, New Jersey would like to know, is it more fun writing children's books or acting? Because you are equally amazing at both.
Oh, Richard, I'm hoping you'll be going to see Halloween on October 19th at a theater or drive-in. Are there even theaters or drive-ins anymore?
There's a few.
There's a couple?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Richard, hope you'll go see it. It's pretty scary. Kind of wacky that we're doing that again 40 years later. Here's the deal. As you can tell, bit of a ham. Not desperate for attention anymore. Well, used to be, but not anymore. But I'm very much me in the universe. And this allows me to express myself in a way that being an actor doesn't. You know, I am constrained by being an actor, by the ideas, the clothing, the hairdos, but even the politics of a person I'm playing. I just did a movie called The Pages that'll be out, I think, at the end of the year, where I played the President of the United States, who was an arch-conservative. And that was interesting. I enjoy pretending to be other people. I have for my whole creative life. But the truth of the matter is the books that I write come from me, and therefore they are what I think, what I feel, how I think, how I feel, the way I look at the world. The lens I look through the world with comes out in each one of the books that I've written. And that's satisfying, because that makes you feel understood and seen in a way that pretending to be Laurie Strode, though she's an interesting person and a tragic character in many ways, and therefore elicits a lot of emotion out of me and you. The truth of the matter is I'm not Laurie Strode, and I am merely interpreting her life, whereas these books are mine. They are me. They are the best of me, maybe the worst of me, and it's pretty unfiltered. The words on this page I wrote, and it is what I think and feel. And that's satisfying in a way, Richard, that pretending to be other people just flat out isn't. So, thank you for your question.
So now we have something new. We have Daniel and his 5th grade class from Cumberland, Rhode
Oh, we're
Island
there now with
are
them?
on the phone.
Oh, we're really on the phone with them?
Yes.
Daniel? Is this Daniel? Whoa.
Hey,
Oh, hold on, you're on speaker. Am I supposed to be on speaker? Hi, Daniel. Hi, class.
how are you?
I'm good. Am I literally with your class?
You are with a few of them, and they've prepared some questions for you. You got it, man.
That's why I'm here. Hi.
Hi, this is Curtis. I was wondering what your favorite book to write was and why.
What age?
10.
10-year-old. 10-year-old. Trying to remember. I was a Roald Dahl fan. So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach were stories that I loved, and the illustrations in them I loved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello?
Hi, I'm Donovan.
Hi, Donovan.
I'm 10 years old. How do you feel about being in movies and talking about putting the camera down?
You mean putting the camera of our phones down or putting any camera down?
Any camera.
Any camera. Well, when you're in the movies, you are pretending to be whoever it is that you're pretending to be. If it was Freaky Friday, I was pretending to be both the girl, Anna, and her mom, Tess. But, during that movie, I'm pretending to be people. And if it was Beverly Hills Chihuahua, I was pretending to be Auntie Viv, or if it was in My Girl, I was pretending to be Shelley Devoto. But it's all make-believe. And I'm really interested in real life. And I'm really interested in people. And my concern with our obsession with looking at our screens and our phones and our tablets and our computers, my concern, Donovan, is that we've stopped looking at each other. And that scares me, because I think that's the way we communicate, really, is not through text, is not through telephones, it's not through emails, it's through contact with another human being. And I think we're forgetting that. And that's why being in school with a good teacher is crucial. So you guys all need to be really respectful and look Daniel in the eye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have time for two more questions?
I would do this for an hour. I'd be so happy, Daniel.
I have 2 more. Thank you.
Hi, Mrs. Curtis. My name is Weston. I'm 10 years old.
Hi,
Do
Weston.
you ever relate your movie parts to your books?
No, that's a great question. They are separate. The movie parts, of course, are me pretending to be other people, whereas my books are, even though they're characters in the books where they're drawn and there's characters of, like, for instance, in the new book, there's a family and there's a mom and a dad and 2 kids. That's also not me, but the words are mine. So the words are the closest thing to my ideas, whereas movies, they're just not my ideas at all. It's just really my face.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very interesting questions.
Hi, Mrs. Curtis. I was wondering
What is your name?
Anna, 10 years old.
Hi, Anna.
Sienna.
Oh, sorry. I heard Anna. The phone made a click. Hello, Sienna.
Correct.
Hi, who is the coolest you ever met besides yourself?
The coolest person you met besides yourself.
Well, it happened today. It happened today. I was on the TV show, The Today Show, which is a morning news show. And a Supreme Court Justice, Sonia Sotomayor, was on the program talking about 2 books that she has written for children about her life, her personal life, and her life as a Supreme Court Justice. And I will tell you, there are very few people that really make me go, wow! And meeting not only a Supreme Court Justice of the United States of America, who sits on the Supreme Court of the United States of America, but she was a woman, was really exciting for me. And if, not that you all would be on Instagram, but Daniel, if you go on Instagram onto a website that I have up, which is my name backwards, Curtis Lee Jamie, because someone else took my name.
Yeah.
That was me grimacing at the person who took my name. You'll see a picture of me and Judge Sonia Sotomayor exchanging books and a handshake of solidarity. And that was really, she was as cool as they come.
Wow, that's great. And we will definitely be looking forward to that.
Well, thank you guys. This was really interesting.
On behalf of Lincoln Elementary School, Central Elementary, we thank you for your time, and we look forward to getting the book.
Thank you so much. Thanks, you guys. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, this, I seriously want to do this now for the rest of my life. I just want to be in a room and talk to nice people and sign books and answer questions and drink water.
Well, we do have another question.
Yes,
this
ma'am.
Is from Lane in Chalfont, St. Giles, Buckinghamshire, who is wondering if you think that smartphones can ever have a place in a classroom. And I would like to amend that to say, is there anything good that smartphones bring into the world?
Wow. Wow. Of course there is. Information, how it's delivered, is crucial. You can listen to a piece of music on a phone. You can read a book on a phone. You can read the news on the phone. There are ways of delivering lots of information on a smartphone. My concern is if we are only looking at a screen, if we are only looking down, we have stopped the natural evolution, which is human-to-human contact. And that is my big concern. Not I see, hello, I walk around with one of these, by the way, that's the Halloween logo on my bandolier, which was made for me because of the movie. I walk around with a phone, and I run the universe on this phone. Just if your mom and dad asks, just say, yeah, whatever, she was cool. Don't tell them I run the universe, because they may not like some of the things that I'm doing with the universe, but I do run the universe on my phone. And I have a phone with me at all times. So it is a means of communication. I get it. We all have them. We all use them. I'm suggesting we put them down and we unplug them. And we make the time we have with our friends and our families precious and sacred. Do you use your mobile phone in church when you're talking to God, in whatever type of religious institution? Do you bring your cell phone in there? No. You turn it off. I suggest we do that much more. And I think it's really easy to start the turn it off movement, which is just turn it off. I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm not trying to legislate. I'm not trying to proselytize. I'm not trying to ban them. I'm not trying to do any of that. All I'm saying is it's a conversation in a family. And at the end of this book, when the kids are the ones who shut down the parents, shut down the mom and put their hand up and say, Mom, stop! Stop! A little boy today said, Mom, please get off your phone. How many of you guys have heard that or said that? I'm suggesting that once that happens, you can return to family time that does not involve screens, that involves reading or listening to music or making up imaginary games or drawing or creating something or cooking or walking or whatever. But it doesn't have to involve technology. And that's what I'm encouraging with my new book.
Ross from Baltimore, Maryland would like to know if you would ever do a kids' scary stories book about a boogeyman.
Let me just say this, Ross. I don't like to be scared. I know, wacky, that I, who've been in a lot of scary movies, would say I don't like to be in scary movies. I don't like to be scared. I don't like to be scared at all. I think that just being human is scary, and I personally don't find anything fun about it. I know there are people that love scary books and love scary movies and love scary music. None of it. None of it do I like. So, no, I would never write a book of scary stories for kids, because the last thing I want to do is scare them. I want to make them laugh and, you know, maybe cry and connect up with their families, but I don't want to scare them. No.
Patricia in Tucson, Arizona wants to know if you have a word of advice for us about how to stay positive in troubling times.
Look at history, because there have always been troubling times. Always. Every country, every nationality, every period of history have been troubling times. And then there are better times. We get through the bad times. The evolution of that period changes. People come along. Great leaders change the way we think, change the narrative of our lives, and we follow them. And that's just life. And so yes, it's troubling times. A lot of people are angry, a lot of division in the world, a lot of division, particularly in this country. But that's part of a democracy. The democracy it was not born in some sort of warm, fuzzy, group hug. It was fought for. It was fought side against side. It did not. Like childbirth, it is painful for everybody. Democracy is painful for everybody. And we just happen to be in an actively difficult time. And I hope that it will settle out. And we will all do what we have done throughout history, particularly in this country, again, in a democracy. I mean, there are a lot of countries that don't have democracies who have seen changes come. Hard, horrible, tragic, brutal changes. And in this country, in a democracy, we have seen changes, and we just have to write it out and do the very thing that makes it a democracy, which is vote. That's the miracle. One person, one vote. Or we have to study the Electoral College and figure this out. But ultimately, what you get to do is vote. And really, that's the privilege of being in America, and we all have to take advantage of it.
So we have another phone call. We have Andrea from Center Hall,
telling you,
Pennsylvania.
I want to do this. I want to do this. I may never leave this room. Just saying. You guys just like kick in, because we're going to pool our snacks and we're going to be here for a while. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Jamie.
You're very present. Where are you?
Center Hall, Pennsylvania.
Hi there.
Hi. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Great. I was just wondering, how important do you feel it is to show diversity in your characters?
Really important. You know, I'm the privileged mother of 2 children born from adoption, and the more I live in the world, the more I see that diversity is the universe. The universe has no longer allowed there to be any group that is separate, really anywhere in the world. And the beauty of this evolution in the universe is the diversity that it has created. And I have felt it was important to represent diversity in all of the books that I've published. And in particular, this new book is a very specific diverse family, and it was specifically chosen and decided on by a team of people because this is the universe we live in. And of course, you know, to the degree that I have the control to make that happen, I will do so, and I will continue to do so. And you know, in the last book I published prior to this one, which was a book called This Is Me, A Story of Who We Are and Where We Came From, it was literally a book about diversity. It was a book about immigration. It was a book about all of our ancestors who've come here from all these far-flung places and the lives that they made in America. And so it's important to me, and it's obviously important to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Maybe my husband will call. We can chat. You guys can all listen in. This is so fun.
Well,
I'm going to lean back a little.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm going to have some water.
We have a question from Gilberto in Louisville, Texas, who says, "You are one of my inspirations and role models. Who is and or are that person or those people for you?"
Thank you. Appreciate that. Hard fought. Let me say that. You know, this has always been tricky for me, honestly. I didn't have a lot, and I'm not suggesting that people didn't cross my paths. What really inspires me are people who live lives and do tremendous service for other people. That always has gotten me. It may sound trite, please don't, it is not intended to be trite. I once met a woman who works in a burn unit for children. She's a nurse, and she works in a burn unit for children. She has her own kids, she has her own family. She, you know, still has to make Thanksgiving dinner for everybody. Like, all of the obligations and life, remembering her nephew's 10th birthday, all of it. She has the same laundry list that we all do. And yet every single day she goes into a hospital and puts on a nurse's uniform and attends to children in a burn unit. People like that, there are no words for the amount of respect I have for what they do. My heroes are the unsung heroes. My heroes have always been people doing jobs that they don't love, but they do them so beautifully and with such spirit that they make you feel good when you're interacting with them. And I don't care if it's somebody working at a FedEx office. If they make your day brighter because of their attitude and their friendliness and care, that to me is inspiring. I've not been a big role model. Weirdly enough, meeting Judge Sonia Sotomayor today would have come pretty close because she has represented somebody who has been in a real life and then is now in this highest court in the land. That is inspiring. But I'm not a big idol worshiper. I'm a much more grassroots worshiper of people doing real jobs in real places that I couldn't do for 5 minutes. And they do every single day of their lives. That's impressive to me.
Right. Well, I think we're gonna switch things up for a minute now. We're gonna do
Is that
a
too heavy?
speed round. No,
Did it
I
get
think
heavy?
we're just
Oh my
gonna
gosh.
keep it.
Sorry.
No, this is something a little new. I
Uh-oh.
thought that was a great answer.
Speed round.
So we're gonna do
I'm nervous.
22 questions. We're gonna see if we
How
can
much
do it
time?
in 2 minutes.
Okay, am I setting a timer?
All right, let's
On
do it.
my
Let's see.
smartphone that you see is good for me to have. All right, I do have a
Pressure's
timer. Hold on.
Okay.
I have a timer. Hold on, 2 minutes. It's going to go a gong when it goes off. It's like a gong noise. Ready? You tell me when.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go. Where were you born?
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Sorry.
Spoiler.
It was 8 minutes and 2
Uh-oh.
seconds. All right. No, hold on. Everybody breathe. Everybody take a breath. Talk to the person next to you.
Grab
Say
a
hi.
snack.
Introduce yourself. Okay, I'm ready again.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Where were you born?
Los Angeles, California.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Sarah Paulson.
What was your first job?
Babysitting. And my first acting job were 2 lines on an episode of Quincy, which you can still see on the internet.
What is your biggest fear?
Well, I'm a mom and a wife and a family member, so I have plenty.
There. Who makes you laugh the most?
My husband.
What is one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Honey baked ham, sweet mustard.
Nice. What is the last concert you went to?
I watched Hannah Gadsby's concert on Netflix, which is about as close as I'm going to get to a concert. And, by the way, if you haven't watched it, immediately turn this off and go watch it. Not if you're 8,
Yeah.
but if maybe you're 18. 15. 15.
Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
We already know the answer to that. Judge Sonia Sotomayor.
What is your middle name?
Only 31 seconds left. Lee.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Rude people.
What is the last book you read?
Into the silence.
What is your favorite hobby?
My family.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Granola.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I can cry like a baby.
What color is your toothbrush?
Blue.
What's your secret snack?
Granola.
How do you take your coffee?
White with 1.
What is the last movie you saw in theaters?
Hannah Gadsby. Did
Did
I pass?
No,
No,
I
I
got to 18.
Oh no!
Do you like to answer?
I'll answer them, but I failed. I failed live on the internet. Wow, it's okay. I got it. I failed. I got
Yes, I
it.
know.
Thank
I
you
was
for the
really rubbing
reminder.
it in there.
Cancel. Timer done. Cancel. Cancel.
Why don't we get us relaxed for these
Hold on.
next
Why
few?
doesn't it cancel? There.
I think you're.
No, it's saying start. Okay,
No, I
I'm
think you're
turning it off.
Let's
Oh,
hope it
I'm
doesn't go on
failed.
this
I'm
weekend.
so
No,
embarrassed.
we can blame me. Well, what?
Yeah, you
is-
asked him really slowly.
I was trying. What is the last gift you gave?
Earrings.
What cause is dear to your heart?
Children's Hospital Los Angeles.
What is number 1 on your bucket list?
Meeting Judge Sonia Sotomayor.
Where do you want to go that you've never been?
India.
All right, now we've done it. So
That's it?
Yeah, we were really close.
Is that it? Do we have time? What's
We
our
have some
time?
time, so we do still have a few more questions.
All right, I'm going to give you my secret talent. I will now give you my secret talent. Wish me luck.
Well, when you said cry like a baby, that was not what I thought you meant. Well,
I just
done.
threw down live on the internet.
Oh, wow.
You're just going to tell your friends, like, Oh, you missed it.
That was
You missed
very
it.
impressive.
Thank you.
If someone is ever rude to you on an airplane,
Yeah.
you really feel bad.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Oh, you are right as rain, lady.
Well, that is somewhat, it's maybe relevant to our next question from John in Cincinnati, Ohio, who wants to know what the most awesome part of being a parent is. Maybe not that.
I won't be flip about my kids because that would be disrespectful to them. And I'm not going to really talk about my kids because they're human beings and they are adults. You learn a lot about yourself through your children because they, as much as you're their teacher, they are yours, and they have a way of being able to really show you things about yourself that are a lot of bad things and a lot of good things, and you hope at the end it somehow ends up with a positive message. But they are truth tellers, and a lot of people really aren't, and that's why children are amazing.
On a completely different note, Lisa in Tampa, Florida would like to know what...
Not one of my friends, by the way, called in. Tells you how serious my friend group is. Not one of you. Not one of you are people that I actually know. You would think one of my friends would have said, hey, let's call in and just say, hey, it's me. Nothing. I'm going to reconsider my holiday
This
list.
could be a pseudonym. We never know. Lisa in Tampa.
Yeah,
would like
Lisa
to know
in Tampa. Mhm.
about your favorite role in any of your films or TV series and why.
I thought True Lies was pretty amazing. It was a great, great part that Jim Cameron wrote, and he gave me complete freedom, which creatively was very liberating. And I think it was probably my favorite time of pretending to be somebody else.
Sabrina in Pewee Valley, Kentucky would like to know, including this title, Me, Myselfie, and I, which of your children's books was your favorite to write and why?
I wrote a book called Is There Really a Human Race? Which was a question my son asked me one day after school, kind of angry, because somehow someone had made him feel like he shouldn't be in it. And I didn't realize the messages of competition to children, how early we start them competing for what. And so I wrote that book as an answer to him. And it is probably, if you were going to distill out all of me into a book, that would be the book that I would ask you, that would be the book that I would hope would represent the clearest distillation of who I am. Because I did not feel in life that I was winning the competition on any level. Not in grade school, not in high school, I just didn't feel it. It was a very competitive place, and, I think the internet has yielded that for young people in a horrible way. I think all of this social media has just made everything a competition. Every meal everybody eats is going to look better than the one before it. And it's just made everybody want to be the best at everything and have the best. And I just find it to be dangerous. And so I always felt that as a kid, and it did not feel good. So I hope that the best thing I can offer is a book for children about competition, saying, as I quoted earlier today, sometimes it's better not to go fast. There are beautiful sights to be seen when you're last.
Great quote. We have one more phone call, I believe. Kathleen from Memphis.
And see, by the way, it's gotten warm in here. If I start doing this, my sister gave me a fan. I should bring it out. It's a little steamy in here. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm a little, as I just said, a little steamy.
Yeah. I'm so excited to be talking to you. This is
Thank you very much. Me too.
I wanted to know, what do you think was the toughest movie role that you had to prepare for? Like, when you look back at your career, what was the toughest role that you played?
You know, the truth of the matter is, the only thing that was difficult was any technical skill I had to learn. And I mean, that's not anything difficult. People do that every day. People learn new stuff. Honestly, I don't think being an actress is very tough. I think, as I said earlier, I don't know if you were listening earlier or if you were with us earlier, but there are people that do tough things every single day. And
Sure, yeah.
I don't think being an actress in a movie is very difficult. I mean, their hours are long. It's a lot of time away from your family. But, you know, ask anybody in the military about the hours, or the time away from their family. I mean, it would be embarrassing for me to complain about the hours of my job or having to get to be away from my family for my job, when you've got all these people in the military who deploy and leave their families all the time. So
Sure.
I
Absolutely.
try not to complain about it. I don't think it's that hard a job.
Are you excited about Halloween
Well, yeah.
coming out and everyone
Sure.
seeing it?
Well, you know, it was my first movie. I was 19 years old. There were no expectations about it. And it was really a wonderful opportunity, maybe the best acting gig I ever had. And then, you know, now to be doing another movie 40 years later, the way we approached it was with no expectations. Now, obviously there are expectations, but truly the way we went back and made it, David Gordon Green, the director, and his crew, we really approached it that way. It really was made on a very small scale, very much like the original movie. And, you know, it's about trauma. It's really about what happened to that girl 40 years ago and the fact that no one ever paid any attention to what happened to her. And we've seen it now in the marketplace where a lot of women are coming forward having survived trauma. And this is just another one of those stories. She is joining the ranks of a lot of women who are finally saying, you know, I'm done. I need to own my life again. And so it's very emotional, but also very powerful.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I can't wait to see it. And
Well, I
we're
hope you'll
both
like
so
it.
excited.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good luck.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
This is going very well. Kathleen, I feel like we were friends and we were just talking.
We only
I'm leaning back. Look at me. I'm relaxed. Soon my feet are going to go up.
we only have a few minutes left, so
Nuh-uh.
I think we have 6 minutes.
We have 6 minutes.
We need a few more.
I can speed. I can't speed through, apparently.
No,
I
that's
failed at the
okay.
speed round.
Well, what's next for Jamie Lee Curtis?
Who's asking?
You know, it's not showing me anymore. A mysterious
You mean the
person
person?
in a mysterious city has.
What is
would like-
next? You know what? That is a good question. I'm right now in the beginning of my book time. Here. Oh, see, there I can scan it. And then I will be doing the Halloween Hustle later on. The movie's actually going to debut at the Toronto Film Festival on Saturday night. Very exciting. And then, you know, I am a card-carrying adult woman. I am a card-carrying mother of 2, wife. I have a beautiful family, extended family. I am the matriarch in my family. I'm the boss. I'm a little bossy. And, you know, I have a lot of schemes and things. And you've met me a short amount of time, and you already can see I
can see it.
have my schemes. So, you know, what's next for me is I wake up in the morning and try to figure out what I'm doing. I wake up every day with the promise of a new day. Every day. I never wake up bummed out. I really do look at every day. I wake up with this much energy. I am not somebody who stumbles out of bed and sort of has to come to. I wake up firing on all cylinders very early in the morning. Ask my family. My children both will write to me and say, Mom! I get a lot of those texts, by the way. I get a lot of capital MOMs. Usually because I've texted them when I wake up, which is like 4:45. And I will get a MOM capitalized, maybe even an exclamation point, like my son will go, Mom, time! Because I understand they leave their phones on. I don't. Mine's on silent. You can text me whenever you want. Because when I wake up, I'll see it, but when I'm asleep, I won't. But my kids, I'm sure, leave their phone on, because you young people do. And so when I text them, they're not happy about it.
All right. Well, again, just a few minutes, and we're no longer seeing names and locations, but I'm just wondering if you have any advice for aspiring writers that you would like to pass on.
Oof. You know, again, I try not to offer advice too much because I think people's individual experiences, the confluence of talent and luck and opportunity and magic fairy dust combining into something that then becomes something is way beyond me to tell you how that's going to happen. I would say put yourself in the path of possibility. And the way you do that is you show up early and you stay late and you say yes to every single thing that comes your way. There should be no job too small for you. If you want to be a author, find a publishing house in your city or town where you live and start by volunteering, book fairs, you know, start by looking up the name of people's editors. Write them letters. Hi, I would like to intern with you over the summer. I mean, be aggressive. Be hungry. Do not expect it to come walking in your door. It will not. It is going to come to you through your putting yourself in the path of something. And then once in the path, things will happen. But I am not someone who will pretend to tell you what to do.
All right, well, we are down to our last 90 seconds to 2 minutes.
90 seconds.
Any parting words about the book, about smartphones, about life?
Tell the truth. Really, just tell the truth of who you are, what you think, what you feel. Try to listen. Put your phone down. Pick up a book. Pick up a newspaper. Volunteer, hold somebody's hand, walk a dog, do your part. Do your part for sure. Do your part. Be a worker among workers. And you just don't know what's going to walk through the door of your life. You just have no idea until it does. And if you're ready and awake and aware, and you've suited up and shown up for your life or your family or whatever it is, I believe, certainly through my own experience, that that door will open and you will walk through it. That sounded very sort of a little new agey, and I didn't mean it to be too new agey. I'm not that new agey, I'm old agey. I'm way old agey. So I'm not so new agey.
So we'll end it there. Thank you so much.
That was
Jamie
it.
Lee
New
Curtis.
agey, old agey. Peace, everybody. Make good choices. Make good choices. Don't drink and drive. Thank you.